Hey friends, so how is your 2021 going so far? Here in New Jersey, we have gotten a lot more snow than usual. Every time I turn around, my car is covered in snow. Thankfully, I'm still working from home most of the time, so I'm not hating it as much as I would any other year. I hate driving in the snow. Now I get to look out the window and just enjoy it. But this time of year not only means snow and cold for us Northeasterns, it also means tax season for everyone in the US. And most people hate doing their taxes for a few reasons. Lack of understanding, disorganization, and then they don't know if they will end up paying money. We have never owed money, and yet I still wait longer than I should to do my taxes. We are almost a week into tax season. Comment down below if you have already done your taxes, because you are my motivation. First, let me get this out the way. I am not a professional. I'm just a person who enjoys learning about things I don't know and who wants to share these things with you, my friends on YouTube. Today, it will be basic things on federal taxes. But here is my disclaimer. The information I am giving you is for educational and informational purposes only. Like I said, I am not a professional. Use this as a starting point. Do your own research and talk to your tax person, to discuss your personal situation. But before we get into this video, I want to welcome you to my channel, Financial Wisdom with AnaG. I'm AnaG. I have a video here on YouTube and a blog on my website, anag every Thursday, so make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell to get reminded every time I post a new video. I know we all get busy and you guys aren't thinking, oh, it's Thursday, AnaG has a new video out today. I set reminders for everything, so my mind doesn't have to do any extra work than what it has to, and that's what that little bell is for. I am also including something fun and different in my videos. I am a huge Friends fan, so keep an eye out for a Friends character that will pop up discreetly a few times throughout the video. If you find him or her, comment down below. This is my first video of 2 regarding taxes for beginners. I didn't want one really long video, so I split it into 2. Part 2 will be up in the next few days, which means that notification bell will be really important so you know when the next part comes out. That video will include tips that you need to know before you go do your taxes, so you don't want to miss it. Okay, so there is one last thing that we have to do to close the chapter in 2020, our taxes. The deadline for filing your federal taxes this year is April 15th, and just in case anyone is confused, when you file your taxes this year, it will be for your 2020 income. Federal taxes get taken out of every paycheck. Take a look at your paycheck stub, and under the section titled Deductions, you will see a line that says Federal Taxes. That's how much federal taxes were taken out of your paycheck. And now take a look at your W-2. On block 1, it says how much wages, money, you received from your employer for the year, and block 2 shows how much federal taxes were deducted from your paycheck for the year. By law, all employers are required to have all W-2 to employees by January 31st. The amount of federal taxes that is taken from your paycheck is determined by what you filled out as a withholding allowance on your W-4 form. This is the form you filled out when you first got hired, but you can change it from time to time. Here's the general rule of thumb. The more allowances you claim, the less federal income tax your employer will withhold from your paycheck, and that means the bigger your take-home pay, but the less taxes you will get during tax season. The fewer allowances you claim, the more federal income tax your employer will withhold from your paycheck, and that means the smaller your take-home pay, but the bigger your refund during tax season. So you can adjust your W-4 to change what you prefer. Do you want the bigger paycheck or the bigger refund? Just talk to your tax guy, before you make any changes. I prefer to get the big refund during tax season. I take that money and pay down any credit card debt we have from Christmas, or that ends up being our vacation money. I am more disciplined getting a big amount all at once and using it responsibly than getting a little bit more every paycheck. There's a much better chance I'll spend it mindlessly when it's only a few $100s instead of a few $1,000s. So who is required to file their federal taxes? My two oldest kids had their first job over the summer doing landscaping at a local park. That got me wondering, do they need to file taxes? The amount of income that you made last year will determine if you have to file federal taxes. Income is considered anything you received in the form of payments. It includes money from your job or jobs, your business or self-employment, retirement benefits, and investments. Here's some great news for you. Hitting that subscribe button and leaving a comment will exclude you from having to do your taxes this year. Just kidding, but I really do want you to do that to help my channel. Come on, it's only a few clicks. The real good news is that the stimulus checks you got last year are not being counted as income. So yay for that! Listen people, we are talking about taxes here. We have to find the positive things anywhere we can find them, right? Here's a breakdown of how to figure out if you need to file federal taxes. Keep in mind that this information is only good for the 2020 tax season and the minimum gross income can change every year. I'm going to keep saying this. Confirm any information that you gather from this video with your tax guy. You can see the different filing categories on the left. Your filing category is mostly determined by your age, your marital status, and your income. Most of them are self-explanatory, but there's 2 points I want to make. Married couples have the option to file jointly or separately on their federal income tax return, but the IRS strongly encourages couples to file joint tax returns by giving several tax breaks to those who file together. Married couples who file jointly usually receive higher income thresholds and deductions. This means they can earn a higher amount of income and qualify for certain tax breaks. There are a few exceptions. The most common one is if you are a person that had a lot of out-of-pocket medical expenses, filing separately might be more beneficial. The only way to know which option is best for you is to prepare your taxes both ways. Married filing jointly and married filing separately. The other point is about head of household. To file as head of household, you must pay for more than half of the household expenses, be considered married for the tax year, and you must have a qualifying child or dependent. From what I've been reading, it looks like my kids are not going to have to file a tax return since we claim them as dependents. You can see here that even if we didn't claim them as dependents, they still wouldn't need to file their taxes because they fall under the category single and they didn't make over $12,400 last year. But I am still going to ask my tax guy because I read something about unearned income and there are so many rules that I'm not going to assume anything. Make sure you work with your tax person to determine what is the best filing status for you. Lastly, let's go over key tax terms. There are words that you will hear over and over again when you are talking about taxes, and knowing the definition will help build your confidence. We are going to use Chandler and Monica Bing, who have 2 kids and file married jointly, as an example. Please remember that the key terms and examples I am using are basic. There are plenty of other credits, deductions, adjustments, and exemptions that I don't cover that you might be eligible for. I'm sure you have heard the words gross income and net income. And if you are like me, you are thinking, wait, which one is which? Here's my trick for remembering the difference between the two. Gross income is the money that you make before they take any taxes out. It's gross because you will never really see all that money. Net income is what you actually bring home. Most of us, unless you're an accountant, only really care about net income, how much money we actually get. But remember, you can change your withholdings on your W-4 to see a change in your net income. For our example, Chandler and Monica's gross income for 2020 was $85,000. AGI stands for Adjusted Gross Income. To get your AGI, or taxable income, take all your incomes from your jobs, dividends, retirement benefits, interest, and capital gains, and subtract any deductions, which we will talk about next. If you hear this next term, just smile, because it's helping you pay less taxes. Tax deductions are expenses the IRS allows you to subtract from your gross income. Look at that, I'm already using a term you just learned. You can either do the standard deduction or the itemized deductions. One or the other. You can't do both. Most taxpayers take the standard deduction. In fact, it is estimated that in 2018, 90% of households took the standard deduction. A standard deduction is a fixed dollar amount that you can subtract from your gross income. The standard deduction is available to all filers and is determined by the taxpayer's filing status. This chart shows you the standard deduction for each filing status. Chandler and Monica with a gross income of $85,000, married filing jointly, can take the $24,800 standard deduction, bringing their AGI, and there's another term you just learned, bringing it down to $60,200. This is the amount that they will have to pay taxes on. Well, as of right now. Itemized deductions are more time consuming. It requires you to bring proof of every single thing you are going to claim. This obviously requires you to keep receipts of all those expenses for the entire year. Let's take a look at the standard deduction chart again. Find your standard deduction amount based on your filing status. If you don't spend more than that on charitable contributions and out-of-pocket expenses, medical expenses, just take the standard deduction. Save yourself time. You either have to have been really charitable or had a lot of out-of-pocket medical expenses to surpass your standardized deduction. Tax brackets refer to a range of incomes subject to a certain income tax rate. Because we have tax brackets here in the US, it means we have a progressive tax system. This means that as a person's income grows, so will the amount of taxes that they pay. Low incomes fall into the lower tax rates and higher incomes fall into the higher tax rates. This chart shows you that for 2020 there are 7 tax brackets. The Bings, with their taxable income of $60,200, fall into the second tax bracket of 12%. You can see how important deductions are to help you pay less taxes. If there was no standard deduction, the Bings would fall into the third tax bracket of 22%. And here is even more good news. They aren't paying 12% on the entire $60,200. They will pay 10% on the first $19,750, and then they will have to pay 12% on the other $40,450. When we add these two numbers, 1,975 and 4,854, the total they will owe in taxes is 6,829. So we got the AGI for the Bings, but wait, there's more. Here's another term that should bring a smile to your face: tax credit. A tax credit is an amount of money that you can subtract directly from the taxes you owe to the government. Unlike deductions, which reduce the amount of taxable income, tax credits reduce the actual amount of tax owed. So if you have the option of a tax credit or a tax deduction, a tax credit will probably benefit you the most because they cut the amount of taxes you owe. One tax credit out there for this tax season is the Earned Income Tax Credit. If you make less than $56,844, you might qualify for it, and it could save you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars. I found out that 1 out of 5 taxpayers doesn't claim this tax, so make sure you ask your tax person if you qualify for it. If you have kids, there is a child tax credit. You can claim up to $2,000 per qualified child with this tax credit. The Bings who have 2 kids can claim a total of $4,000. Because of this $4,000 tax credit, now the amount they owe in taxes is $2,829. Remember, all the numbers and examples I use with the Bings and in this video are basic examples. I don't want no problems with you after you go get your taxes and things don't come out exactly like I explained in this video. Before you go do your taxes, do some research on what the criteria is for some of these credits. I realize that a lot of tax people aren't as educated as they should be and might be costing you money by not applying some tax credits or deductions that you qualify for. So if you go in and tell them you think you qualify for this or that, it will force them to look into it. Lastly, let's go back to that W-4 form. You might have ended up having paid more taxes in 2020 every time they took federal taxes out of your paycheck. So that's why some people end up getting money back during tax season like we do. We pay more taxes throughout the year than we actually owe, and that's why we get a refund. Then there are people that didn't pay enough and they end up having a tax bill. You can now see how what you put on that W-4 will impact you every tax season. There was a lot of tax terms in here, but knowing them is important. You don't need to be an expert on this, but you want to have a basic understanding because taxes impact you where we feel it the most, in our pockets. And taxes are something you will have to pay for the rest of your life. It's only wise to get more educated in this area to see how you can pay the least amount of taxes legally. It took a lot of research for me to do this video, and I hope it shows with the content I provided in this video. If you appreciate how much smarter you are after watching this video, I just ask you that you hit the like button and you subscribe. Make sure that you turn that notification bell on so that you get a message when part 2 of Taxes for Beginners comes out. I will provide you with a checklist and tips from the pros to help you get through this tax season as painless as possible. Thank you for staying with me until the end. It helps us a statistic YouTube uses to determine if they will recommend this video to other people. Stay warm out there. I'll see you in a few days, and to your finances.